All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to our series from Dr. Dave Regis's free ebook, which is called 10 Steps to Learn Chess Tactics and Combination. And very grateful to the good doctor for giving me permission to turn his book into videos. And basically it's aimed initially at beginners, but the later stages get a little bit sharper. And it's basic tactics in chess that will win material, will help you win more valuable pieces for less valuable ones. And today we're going to look at pins. We're going to have 6 games where pins play a big part. And then in my next video, there'll be another 6 games on the same themes. It's quite a big theme. And actually not just pins, also skewers. So what on earth is a pin? Well, in this situation, with the rook, I suppose I should put a king on the board really just to make it a legal position. Okay, so in this position with the pawn protecting the rook is pinning the white queen. And what we mean by pinning is that it's unable to move because something more valuable behind it, or something valuable behind it, will be lost. So in this situation, it's actually illegal to move the queen off of this line because of, whoops, you can tell I'm on the setup board. Yeah, so you can't be doing that because what will happen is rook takes king, obviously, which is no good. If I just swap these round, we have something similar. And in this position, it's known as a skewer. The more valuable piece is the one in front. So obviously this is check. The king has to move to get out of check. And then black plays rook takes queen. So that's an example of a pin and a skewer. I'm just going to change this here. We can have something very similar. Who said it has to be a rook? Of course it doesn't. In this situation, the bishop is checking the king. King has to get out of the way, and then bishop takes queen. Obviously, it can be the other way. Oops, there we go. I'm on the setup board again. I must remember. It can be the other way round. In this situation, actually, this particular game will turn out to be a draw. I'll explain why in a sec. But we have a situation where the queen is pinned to the king. And actually, this turns out it's a draw. It's 0.00. I may as well show you why. I'm just randomly making up these positions. So point is the queen is lost. Obviously, black's going to play bishop takes queen. And after king takes, what will happen in this particular position, just say randomly doing this live as I go, is that if the white king heads to the corner like this and just shuffles backwards and forwards, black can actually never push the pawn through to get a new queen. So that would actually be a draw. But that's a little bit off topic. Now, what should happen in chess if you've pinned an enemy piece? So let's just say that we've got a situation that looks a little bit like this. So there we go. We've got a game. We've got a game of chess. Now, white has pinned this knight. The knight can't move because the king is behind it. But if black simply moves the king here, isn't this defended? Well, no, because what you'll do in chess is if you have a pinned piece, you will hit it again. And then you'll hit it again and again until it falls. So in this case, pawn forward. Now the knight is attacked twice. The king can't really defend. And whatever black does, let's just say king here, bishop takes wins. You can't play king takes bishop because the pawn's defending. You can't play king takes pawn because the bishop's defending. So you'd be winning. So that in a nutshell is pins and skewers. Now, pins and skewers can only be carried out by bishops and rooks and queens because they're the ones that move in some variety of straight line or diagonal. So yeah, I think that pretty much does it. So let's get ourselves onto the analysis board and see where we go. Something I did want to say, by the way, I've just spotted it on my notes, is in the previous video on forks, I gave the Italian player from the 1800s, Greco, the wrong first name. I know it's nothing, but I'm just really pedantic about things like this. I think I called him Giovanni. It's actually Giacchino, but whatever. Okay, fine. Back to pins. So our first game here is Sturrell against NN from Boras 1956. Now, NN in a chess book means that we don't know the name of the player of the black pieces. So, e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, c3 and d5, queen to a4, pawn takes e4, Knight takes e5. So we already have a pin on the knight. It can't move. And we have attacked it twice. But that's not really the point of this particular situation, because in this position, black's able to play queen d5. And that kind of protects the knight for a second time. It's protected twice, attacked twice, so okay. And it also attacks the white knight. So black's okay. It's not the best position in the world, but I mean, it could be worse. Okay, you don't want to be in a plus 0.9 position, but okay, it is what it is. But it's about to get worse. Knight takes knight. Now, the right move here for black is pawn takes knight and just accepting that you've got slightly rubbish pawns, but okay, the game goes on. It's only plus 0.6. Oh, it's just gone +1, but okay, fine. What black actually does here is plays queen takes. And there goes the bar all the way up to +6. So your mission is quite simple. Find the pin, press pause if you need to. Otherwise, I'll put it on the board in 3, 2, and 1. And hopefully you spotted that the pin is here. So the bishop is attacking the queen. The queen can't move because she's pinned to the king. And of course, the queen protects the bishop. And there's nothing black can do. They will have to lose their queen worth 9 for a bishop worth 3. I'm guessing the best move is probably bishop to d7, but after bishop takes, and you just move the queen, white's winning. Actually, black resigned in the game as far as I can tell after the bishop went here. So that was pretty nasty. Let's look at the second game, and we've got here Nudling against Gaksh. And this is a correspondence game from 1986. And in correspondence games, the players send each other their moves by letter. Now, I have a feeling that the player of the black pieces probably made the blunder they did because they were expecting a different move and wrote something silly on their letter to their opponent. Anyway, we have the Latvian gambit, which if you've watched lots of my videos, you'll know I had a bit of a liking for as a junior player, and I still do, but it's going to get a lot of beatings in this book from Dr. Dave, I think, because it is very risky. What's going on the board is all theory up till now, typical Latvian gambit stuff. This is all fine. And then bishop e2, which isn't the most normal move. The most normal move here is to play knight c3, attacking the pawn. The queen will go to g6, defending the pawn, and then you'll probably get f3 is the best move, whatever. But what happens in our actual game is white plays bishop to e2. And I suspect that black put in their letter back to the opponent, my next move will be queen g6, and just didn't realize that white would play this instead of this, because they did play queen g6. And watch the bar go whoop up to the north. Press pause if you want. If you need to spot, a few seconds to help you spot the correct move for white here. Remember, the theme is pins. Otherwise, I'll carry on in 3, 2, and 1. And the correct move is bishop to h5. That bishop, defended by the queen, is now attacking the black queen, and she is pinned. She cannot move because the king is behind her. So I guess black probably just has to take the bishop, and yeah, that is just a queen down. White will run away. So yeah, not very nice. Okay, let's have a look at the next game, the next example. And we have here Davis against Calabria, 1993, from East Lancing. Now, I think East Lancing is only about 40 or 50 miles from where I live. But I was only 13 when this tournament game was played, so I don't think I was in this tournament. Wouldn't that have been ridiculous if the game had been from a tournament I played in? Definitely didn't. E4, E5. Let's see how this goes. Knight F3, Knight F6. Petrov's defense, but not Petrov's defense for long. Turns into the 4 knights. Bishop to b5. This is all okay so far. I think black's supposed to play d6 here. I think. Actually, let's have a look. Am I right? Is d6 okay? Yeah, it's not awful, but it's not the best move. What does the computer think black should do? I don't play this opening very much, so I'm not sure. Bishop c5, bishop b4. My move was okay, but not one of the best ones. But anyway, it doesn't matter. What black actually plays isn't very good at all, is d5. It's a bit too ambitious opening up the middle of the board like this, and it's suddenly sort of +1.5 to white, so says the computer. So let's see how white takes advantage. Now, the first thing is that this knight is now pinned. And white, quite reasonably, hits it again. That's what we've said to do, isn't it? If you have a piece pinned, attack it again. Queen to d6 from black, defending the square, but obviously it's not going to be knight takes, queen takes, and then bishop takes. That'd just be silly. So that's not the point of it. And castles from white. And this is okay. Now, this is setting up a little bit of a trap. And we know that black doesn't have a winning move here because the computer's still saying white's winning, but it doesn't half look like, doesn't it, that the queen can just take the knight. Well, that's what happened in the game. And then we get pawn takes. Well, look at us here attacking this knight again, this pinned knight. But that's not really what this is about. Black thinks they have a clever trick here. Knight to g4. Look at this, it's threatening checkmate. That's a bit scary, isn't it? So black thinks they're a piece up and threatening checkmate, but the bar just went whoop, all the way to the top of the screen. See if you can press pause and find the correct white move here. Bear in mind that the theme is pins. What do you think it might be? If you want to press pause and have a look, go for it. Otherwise, I will carry on in 3, 2, and 1. And the correct move here is rook to e1. And that is pinning the black queen to the king. So you have a rook worth 5 and queen worth 9. Pretty clearly, white's going to win this. You can't play the check now. Look, I'm giving it a go, but the computer just puts the queen back. And that's the point of a pin. A pinned piece is paralyzed. So yeah, black has to lose the queen for the rook, and that will probably mean the game. Okay, ouch. Our fourth one. Dr. Dave gives all these little games in his book a name for each game, and this one says stabbed in the heart. So I think this might be a bit dramatic. And we have Juric against Jelisavic from Belgrade in 2003. Okay, let's go with it. So e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, d4, e takes d4, so Scotch game at the minute. Knight takes d4 is fine. And knight takes d4 from black. I don't think that's the best move for black, actually. I don't think it's awful. I don't think it's the best move, but I don't really play these openings much. I'm the queen's pawn player, so okay. Queen takes and then b6. And so presumably wanting to put the bishop here. White plays f3 because you put these 3 pawns on white squares so that they blunt the bishop on that diagonal. This all looks logical enough. Knight to f6. Knight to c3, bishop b7. Okay, nothing untoward so far. Bishop d3, bishop to e7, queen to e3. That's a strange move. I mean, wouldn't you develop the bishop first? Anyway, whatever. Castles, oh yeah, okay, so I think I've just seen what's coming here. Castles from black, castles from white, yeah. Okay, so this is something to look out for. We've now got a queen and king on the same diagonal. Yeah, and that should be a bit of a danger sign. So press pause if you want to. What should be the correct move for black here? Go for it now if you want to. Otherwise, I'll carry on in 3, 2, and 1. And bishop to c5. Once again, pinning the queen to the king. The queen cannot move because if she does, the computer will simply make it go back because it's an illegal move. You can't put anything in the way. You can't take the bishop. So white must lose a queen worth 9 for a bishop worth 3. Was that a resignation? Yeah, looks like that was the end of the game. Okay. Let's look at the next one. We've got 2 to go in this video, and then I'll do the other 6 in a separate recording. So we are doing, where are we? Oh, I don't have the date for this one, but we have Bandiopody against Misner. It's a category D tournament. I think category D means it's a novice to intermediate standard tournament. In the USA, I think it's category D means it's the USA, but I don't, oh yeah, no, oh no, I haven't got the date for it. I misread. Anyway, doesn't matter. Let's look at the game. So e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, knight f6, and knight to g5. So we've got the potential, we've seen this before in other situations, to go for this square here, the old fried liver attack. Black's next move is h6, which is, I'm not going to lie, it's not a good move. As it does nothing whatsoever to protect this square. If you ever do find yourself in this mess as black, you have to play d5. And then the theory is pawn takes, knight takes, bishop here, 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 game goes on. It's a bit of a mess, but black's okay. But h6 is just not good. So knight takes f7. So what have we got? We've got a fork from the previous video, and you can't play king takes knight because, of course, the bishop's protecting. So that's why it won't let me. So the queen escapes because you don't want to lose a queen. Knight takes rook. So it's a free-ish rook. This knight might not get out again, but at the minute, it's a free-ish rook. Queen to b4 from black. b3 to protect bishop. Knight takes e4. And queen to h5, check. King to d8, knight to f7, check. Okay, king e7, I've just spotted what the pin's going to be. So once again, here's the warning sign, queen and king on the same diagonal. Should be easy enough to spot this. Pause if you want to, otherwise we're carrying on in 3, 2, and 1. And of course the move is bishop to here. First of all, protected by the knight, so the bishop is quite safe. And pinning the queen to the king. There is no way for this queen to escape. And in that situation, of course, black resigns the game. Already having lost a rook, the queen to come, time to give up. Okay, one more here, and we have bell against wall. That's strange, because I'm sure we had a bell against wall in this section on forks as well. I'm going to flick the book back now and have a look. Right, in the section on forks, it was B wall against T bell in 1979. But this one says R bell, and we haven't got an initial for wall, but it is 1979. I wonder if it's the same two guys and there's just not quite got the same initials. Anyway, who cares? Let's play the game. So E4, E5, knight F3, knight F6, D4, okay. Knight takes e4, knight takes e5, queen to e7, queen to d3. Again, okay, it's pretty level at the minute. Computer's a bit up and down, but it's basically level. D5 and knight to c3. Okay, I feel like the queen and the king being on the same line might be a warning sign. Yeah, it is. So knight takes c3. And actually, I don't think it matters what way white recaptures here. I think they're going to lose a piece, but queen takes. Okay, so now can you find the correct move for black in this position? Why is this bar down at -2, give or take? Why is black better here? Press pause if you want to find the right move for black. Otherwise, we'll carry on in 3, 2, and 1. And the point is we have, of course, got a pinned piece. That's the whole theme. It's this knight that's pinned. What do we do when a piece is pinned? Well, we attack it again. We don't attack it again with the knight because the knight and the knight have the same value. We can find something less valuable to attack it with here. The move is f6. We attack it with a pawn. Of course, the knight can't move. I can try, but the computer won't let me. And what that means is that our next move would just be not that. That'd be silly. Would be pawn takes knight, and you win a piece for a pawn, so 3 for 1. And that's obviously good news. Right, we've got 6 more short games with pins to go, but I'll do them in a separate video. Don't want to make these too long, try to keep them bite-sized. So thanks as ever to Dr. Dave for permission to use his book, and thanks to you for watching. See you next time.